right? Let's not Texas, Virginia. Because you see, what happens in Virginia will in large part determine what happens in 2022, 2024, and on.
So what do you think about Kamala Harris's comments? I think I've already kind of expressed how I feel about it, but wanted to get your side of it.
I honestly do think it's a bellwether. And what I mean by that is, like, if you're looking for a place where national political sentiment plays a role in a race, you're going to find it in Virginia. I mean, this is very close to Washington, D.C., obviously. This is, Virginia is, it's a blue state. A Republican has not won a statewide race since, I believe, 2010 in Virginia. That just has not occurred. And so as a result, this is a real liability for Democrats should Terry McAuliffe lose. Now, Terry McAuliffe is a bad candidate. So one of the reasons why he could lose, if he does lose this week, is on his own volition. To get up on a debate stage and to suggest that parents should not have a say in what their children learn in schools, when he said that they shouldn't be, telling schools what their kids should and shouldn't learn. That is the kind of thing, that is a devastating act of self-injury by a politician. You don't say that to parents. You can rephrase that. He could have come up with something like, parents do have a say at the ballot box by choosing the officials that are on the school board, or anything else. But literally saying that parents shouldn't be in the business of telling schools what they should and shouldn't teach, that is an awful thing to say. So this was an unforced error by Terry McAuliffe. And as a result, I think to whatever extent that you see him suffer on election day, I don't even know if this thing's not a foregone conclusion. This thing's a coin toss from where we're sitting right now on Monday. He could still win, but if he loses, one of the explanations for that will be the way that he treated parents on the campaign trail. So again, it's going to be his own campaign problems. And look, Democrats didn't think that he'd really have that much of an issue. Again, as I said, this is a blue state. He's kind of a cutout for Democrats generically. He's about as establishment figure as you can get. He's very close to the Clintons. He's very close to the Biden cabinet. He's pretty synced up with establishment Democrats. They didn't need him to be a great candidate. They just needed him to be a generic Democrat, and they thought he could wrap this thing up. And that just hasn't been the case. And I think one of the big drags on him, and he admitted this a couple of weeks ago when he said, if only Washington would go ahead and hurry up and pass this infrastructure bill, that could improve my chances. Like he claimed that in a call with campaign volunteers, he said that the Biden administration and Democrats being in control of Washington is weighing on his race. So I think everyone involved here thinks it's a bellwether, and that includes Terry McAuliffe. So I would agree with Kamala Harris here.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree. I will tell you that I think that this situation right now, well, first of all, I think this definition of red state, blue state, sometimes it isn't really accurate. Like, for example, I'm in Maryland, arguably one of the bluest states in the nation.
Yes.
One of the largest African-American populations in the nation, except for, I think, Washington, D.C., of course, not being a state. So we don't include it. If we don't include that, you got Mississippi, and I think it's Maryland. There might be one other state in the middle. And yet our governor's a Republican, so I don't necessarily think this clear division, particularly with the type of Democrats that are in Virginia, are largely conservative Democrats. So people like Abigail Spanberger and, people who are center, very centrist, very moderate, always complaining about progressive ideas. So we're not talking about someone going, a Republican winning in Massachusetts. We're talking about, like you said, a recently light blue state, if that. So I don't think this is a huge bellwether for the nation, just like when Maryland, one of the bluest states in the nation, elected a Republican twice to be its governor. I don't think that, that changed Maryland from being a blue state. Now, as far as 2022, I think Democrats are going to bleed out anyway, because it's the first term of a sitting president, they always bleed out. So, the sitting president's party always bleeds out.